Like, subscribe, and activate the alarm. And don't forget to share.
大河向东流啊，天上的星星参北斗啊。
Outlaws of the Marsh, Chapter 15. Wu Yong persuades the three Erwan brothers to join. Gongsun Shang becomes one of the righteous seven.
I have in my mind 3 men.
Said Wu Yong.
Gallant, unusually skilled with weapons, men who dare to go through fire and water, who'd stand together to live or die. We must get them if our venture is to succeed.
What do these 3 do?
Asked Chao Gai.
What are their names, and where do they live?
They are brothers, and they live in the village of Stone Tablet, near Liangshan Marsh in Jizhou Prefecture. They are fishermen, though they've also done a bit of smuggling in the marsh. Their family name is Ren. Ren Xiao'er is known as Ferocious Giant. Ren Xiao'u is called Recklessly Rash. Ren Xiaoqi is nicknamed the Devil Incarnate. I once lived in their village a number of years, and I got to know them. Although they never had any education, they're very loyal to their friends and are good bold fellows, so we became quite close. I haven't seen them in over 2 years. If we can get those 3, our big project is a sure thing.
I've heard about the 3 Erwan brothers, but we've never met. Stone Tablet is only about 100 li from here. Why not send someone to invite them for a talk?
They'd never come. I'd better go myself and use the silk tongue of mine to persuade them to join us.
Excellent idea. Where will you go?
There's no time to waste. If I leave tonight at the 3rd watch, I'll get there tomorrow before noon.
Fine.
Chao Gai instructed a vassal to bring food and wine.
I've been from the northern capital to the eastern capital, but I don't know which route the birthday convoy will follow.
Said Wu Yong.
Could we trouble Brother Liu to go to the northern capital soon, to find out exactly when it will set forth, and along what roads it will travel?
I'll leave tonight.
Said Liu Tong.
Not so fast.
Said Wu Yong.
The birthday is on the 15th of the 6th lunar month. Today is the only beginning of the 5th. We've still got 40 or 50 days. Wait till I come back from the ruins. Then Brother Liu can go.
Very well.
Said Chao Gai.
Brother Liu can stay here in my manor.
But enough of the idle chatter. They drank for some time. At the 3rd watch, Wu Yong rose, washed, rinsed his mouth, had an early breakfast, concealed some silver on his person, and put on his straw sandals. Wu Yong traveled all night and arrived in the Stone Tablet well before noon. Since he knew the place, he didn't have to ask. He went directly to home of Ren Xiao'er. The mooring lines of a few small fishing boats were tied to a post near the water's edge. A torn net was drying on a spindly fence. Between the bank and the hill slope stood 10 or so thatched cottages. Wu Yong approached and called,
Is Ren Xiao'er at home?
Ren Xiao'er at once came out, a torn towel cloth binding his head, and wearing old clothes. He was barefoot. When he saw Wu Yong, he hastily hailed him respectfully.
Teacher!
He cried.
What good wind blows you here?
There's a small matter I've come specially to see Ren Xiao'er about.
What is it? Tell me.
It's been 2 years since I left this village. I am now a tutor in the home of a man of wealth. He is going to give a banquet and wants about a dozen golden carp of 14 or 15 caddies each. I need your help.
Ren Xiao'er laughed. Let's have a few cups of wine together first.
That's why I've come.
There are few taverns on the other side of the lake. I'll row you across.
Good. I'd like to speak to Ren Xiao'u too. Do you know whether he's home?
Let's go see. They went down to the shore and untied one of the small boats from the post. Wen Xiaoer helped Wu Yong in, then took an oar that was lying beneath a tree and commenced sculling. As they were moving out into the lake, Wen Xiaoer waved his hand and called, "Ho! Xiao Qi! Have you seen Xiao?" Only then did Wu Yong observe a small boat gliding out of the reeds. Wen Xiaoqi was shaded from the sun by a black straw hat with a white brim. He wore a checkered cloth vest and an apron of homespun. Still sculling, the younger man replied, "What do you want him for?"
Wen Shaoqi!
Wu Yong shouted,
I've come to talk with you three!
"Why, it's you, teacher! Forgive me for not recognizing you! We haven't seen you in ages!"
Come have a few drinks with Ran Xiaoer and me!
"I've been longing to drink with you, teacher! It's just that I haven't had the chance!" One closely following the other, the two craft glided across the lake. Soon they arrived at a high bank surrounded by water, on which stood 7 or 8 thatched cottages. "Mother," called Wan Xiaoer, "is Wan Xiaowu at home?"
Who knows where he is?
The woman replied,
He doesn't fish, but just gambles every day till he hasn't a penny to his name. Now he's begging the hairpins from my head to bet them in his games.
Wen Xiaoer laughed and rowed away. Wen Xiaoqi shouted from the boat behind, "I don't know why he always loses! His luck must be bad! And he is not the only one who doesn't win! I've been cleaned out, too!" Wu Yong thought.
That fits in with my plans perfectly.
The boats headed for Stone Tablet's market center. After an hour or so, they came within sight of a single plank bridge. Beside it, a man was carrying 2 strings of copper cash was untying a boat. "It's Wan Xiaowu!" Wan Xiaoer exclaimed. A tattered bandana tilted rakishly on his head, a pomegranate flower tucked behind his ear, Wan Xiaowu wore an old tunic open to reveal the blue panther tattooed on his chest. His plain trousers were tied at the waist by a checkered towel. Wu Yong hailed him.
Wan Xiaowu, did you win?
"Well, if it isn't teacher! It's a good 2 years since we met. I've been watching your boats from the bridge. We went to your house first!" Wen Xiaoer exclaimed. "Mother said you'd gone into town to gamble, so we came here. Let's take teacher to that tavern overlooking the water." Wen Xiaowu untied his boat and jumped in. He grabbed his oar and, with one sweep, propelled it in line behind the other two. Not long after, they arrived at a pavilion beside a cove of lotus flowers. They moored their craft and helped Wu Yong up the bank to the tavern. In a room facing the lake, they selected a red lacquered table with red lacquered benches. "Please forgive the crudeness of us 3 brothers, teacher," said Wan Xiaoer, "and sit at the head of the table,"
Oh, I couldn't do that.
said Wu Yong. "Then you sit there, brother, and let teacher have the guest seat," cried Wan Xiaoqi. "Xiao and I will sit down first,"
Ran Shaoqi's still impetuous.
said Wu Yong. The 4 took their places at the table and ordered a bucket of wine. A waiter brought 4 large bowls, 4 pairs of chopsticks, and 4 vegetable dishes plus the wine bucket, and set them out on the table. "Any meat to go with the wine?" asked Ran Shaoqi. "Beef from freshly slaughtered ox," said the waiter. "Tender as sponge cake." "We'll have 10 caddies, cut in large slices," said Wan Xiaoer. "Don't laugh at our simple fare, teacher," said Wan Xiaowu. "We're not dining you properly."
It's I must beg forgiveness for putting you to so much trouble.
"Please say no more about it," Wan Xiaoer said. He told the waiter to pour the wine. By then, 2 big platters of sliced meat had been placed on the table, and the Wen brothers urged Wu Yong to try it. He consumed several slices. When he could eat no more, his hosts tore into the remainder like ravening wolves and tigers, and demolished large quantities. What brings you here, teacher? Wen Xiaowu finally asked. Teacher is now a tutor in a wealthy family, said Wen Xiaoer. He needs a dozen golden carp, weighing about 15 caddies each, and he made this trip specially to ask our help. Ordinarily, we could get you 40 or 50 of that weight without any trouble, to say nothing about a dozen, said Yuan Shaoqi. But today, even 10 caddy carp are hard to come by. You've traveled a long way, teacher, said Yuan Shaowu. We might manage a dozen or so, 5 or 6 caddy carp.
I've brought some silver. The price doesn't matter,
said Wu Yong.
but I can't use small fish. They must be the 14 or 15 caddy size.
There's no place we can get them, teacher, said Yuan Shaoqi. We can't even guarantee 5 or 6 caddy kind Xiaowu has promised. It may take us several days. I've a bucket of small live fish in my boat. Let's eat some of those while we're here. He went down to the boat and got the fish. They weighed a total of some 6 or 7 caddies. Wen Shaoqi took them to the kitchen and cooked them himself. He brought them in 3 platters and placed them on the table. Try some of this, teacher. The 4 of them ate for a time. Gradually, the sky darkened,
I can't talk openly in this tavern,
thought Wu Yong.
I'll have to spend the night with one of them. We'll see what happens then.
It's getting late, said Yuan Shaoer. Stay at my home tonight, teacher. We can discuss this some more tomorrow.
Coming here wasn't easy for me,
said Wu Yong.
but now, fortunately, we all are together. I can see you're not going to let me pay for this meal, but I'll be spending the night at the Wen Shaoer's. And I've brought a little silver. Could I trouble you to buy a jug of wine and some meat in this tavern? And a brace of chickens in the village? Tonight, we'll get drunk together. How about it?
We can't let you pay, teacher, said Yuan Shaoer. We brothers will take care of it. Don't think we can't manage,
This has to be my treat.
said Wu Yong.
If you don't let me pay, I'm leaving.
All right, teacher. If you insist, we'll eat with you gladly, said Yuan Shaoqi. We'll see about it next time.
Wen Shaoqi is straight and to the point.
Wu Yong commended. He gave him an ounce of silver and told him to borrow a big jug from the tavern keeper and fill it with wine, and to buy also 20 caddies of fresh and cooked beef and a couple of fat chickens. Take what I owe you of that, too, said Yuan Shaoer. Fine, fine, said the tavern keeper. The 4 men left the tavern, went down to the boats, stored the meat and wine in the cabins, untied the mooring ropes, and rowed to Yuan Shaoer's house. In front of the door, they stepped onto the bank and wound the ropes around the post, then took the meat and wine to the rear and sat down. Yuan Shaoer called for a lamp. He was the only one of the 3 brothers who had a wife. Neither Wen Xiaowu nor Wen Shaoqi were married. Host and guests sat in a rear pavilion overlooking the water. Wen Shaoqi slaughtered the chickens and told his sister-in-law and the little boy she and Wen Xiaoer had adopted to cook them. By the first watch, the wine and the food were all on the table. At Wu Yong's urging, he and the brothers drank several rounds. Again, he raised the question of buying fish.
How is it you don't have the size I want in a big area like this?
To tell you the truth, teacher, only Liangshan Marsh has fish that size, replied Wan Xiaoer. Our stone tablet lake is small and narrow. It can't produce big carp.
But it's not far from here to the marsh, and the 2 lakes are connected. Why not go there?
Wen Xiaoer breathed out heavily. Don't ask.
Why do you sigh, brother?
Wu Yong queried. You don't know what happened, teacher? Wen Xiaowu put in. Our whole livelihood depends on Liangshan Marsh, but we don't dare go.
Surely the magistrate can't stop you from fishing in a place that size.
Magistrate? If he were the king of hell himself, he couldn't stop us.
Then why are you afraid to go?
You haven't heard. We'll explain.
I haven't heard a thing.
It's painful to relate, interjected Yuan Shaoqi. But a gang of robbers has taken over the marsh, and they don't allow any fishing,
I had no idea there were robbers there.
said Wu Yong.
We haven't heard anything about it at my place.
Their head is a man who failed in his civil service examinations, said Yuan Xiao'er. His name is Wang Lun, and he is called the White-Clad Scholar. Second in command is Skyscraper Du Qian. Third is Guardian of the Clouds Song Wen. Below them is Zhugwei, the Dryland Crocodile, who runs a tavern at Ligia Entry as a blind for gathering information. He doesn't matter much, but now they've got a new lieutenant, a bold fellow who was in arms instructor in the Imperial Guards in the eastern capital, Pantherhead Lin Chong. He's a first rate with weapons. These men lead a band of 600 or 700 robbers who loot homes and waylay travelers. We haven't gone to the marsh to fish for over a year. They've suited up tight and cut off our main source of income. It hurts us to even talk about it,
This is news to me.
said Wu Yong.
Why don't the authorities come and capture them?
All the authorities know how to do is to disturb and hurt the people, said Yuan Xiaowu. The first thing they'll do when they come to the countryside is to eat all the villagers' pigs and sheep and chickens and ducks. You have to pay them to get them to leave. A fat lot of use those knaves to be against the brigands. And as for the police, they wouldn't dare come. They'd shit in their pants if the authorities ordered them to arrest the robbers. They'd be scared even to look at one. We can't catch any fish this way, said Yuan Xiao'er. But at least we're avoiding paying taxes and doing forced labor,
So?
said Wu Yong.
Quite a happy life for those outlaws.
They fear neither heaven nor earth, nor the authorities either, said Yuan Xiaowu. Money, fine clothes, wine, and meat. They share and share alike. Why shouldn't they be happy? We three brothers are wasting our talents. If only we could be like them. Wu Yong was inwardly very pleased.
This fits in perfectly with my plans.
He mused. Man lives only his given span. Grass must die in autumn, said Yuan Shaoqi. We spent our lives catching fish. If we could be like them just for one day, we would be content,
Who wants to be like them?
scoffed Wu Yong.
All they do is commit crimes punishable with 50 to 70 strokes of the bamboo. They're frittering away their valor. If they're caught and imprisoned, they've only themselves to blame.
The authorities can't do anything about it. They're stupid blockheads, said Yuan Xiao'er. Thousands of men who've committed towering crimes are wandering around free as air. We brothers are unhappy with our lot. We'd leave here gladly if we could find someone to lead us. We've often taught, said Yuan Xiaowu. We're not less capable than others, but who recognizes our worth?
If there was someone who did, would you really be willing to go?
Queried Wu Yong. We'd go through fire and water, Wen Shaoqi assured him. If we could be happy for a single day, we'd die smiling,
These three definitely have something in mind.
thought Wu Yong.
I'll gradually draw them out.
He pressed the brothers to quaff another few rounds of wine.
Would you have the courage to go into the marsh and capture those robbers?
He queried. Even if we could, who would we ask for the reward? Said Wen Shaoqi. Besides, gallant men everywhere would scorn us,
I have a little idea.
said Wu Yong.
If you're fed up with not being able to fish, why not join the outlaw gang?
We talked about it several times, teacher, said Yuan Xiao'er. But we've heard that the men under Wang Lun, the white-clad scholar, all say he's narrow and stingy. He doesn't make proper use of people. He gave Lin Chong, the eastern capital arms instructor, a hard time when he first arrived. Wang Lun is very fussy about who he takes on. Since that's the way things are, we've lost interest. It would be different if he was a big-hearted and as fond of us as you, teacher, said Yuan Shaoqi. In that case, we would have gone there long ago. If Wang Lun were like you, we wouldn't be here today, said Yuan Xiaowu. We'd die for him without a qualm.
I don't deserve such praise. In Shandong and Hebei today, there are plenty of bold gallants you could join.
No doubt there are, said Wen Xiao'er. But we brothers have never met them.
What about War Chief Chow? Do you know him? He's right there in Yunchang County, in East Bank.
You mean Chao Gai, the tower-shifting heavenly king? Said Wen Xiaowu.
That's the man.
We know him, of course, said Wen Xiaoqi. But though we live only 100 li away, we haven't been fortunate enough to meet him.
How is that? Such a righteous, generous man.
We never had any reason to go to the East Bank, said Wen Xiao'er.
Those last few years, I've been teaching in a village school near his manor,
said Wu Yong.
I hear he's expecting a very valuable shipment. I've come specially to ask whether you'd be willing to join me in snatching it on the way.
No, said Wan Xiaowu. Since he's a noble and charitable person, we wouldn't damage his affairs. The whole fraternity of gallant men would laugh at us.
I didn't realize you brothers were so firmly principled. Your spirit is noble. I'll tell you the real story, if you're willing to help. I am now living in Chao's manor. Your fame has reached him, and he sent me here to talk with you.
We three are completely honest, said Wen Xiao'er. If the war chief has sent you about some important private business where we can be of use, we pledge our help with our lives. On the dregs of this wine, we swear it. May disaster strike us. May we die of horrible disease if we speak false. Wen Xiaowu and Wen Xiaoqi clapped their hands to the back of their necks. We sell this column of hot blood to the man who appreciates its worth, they exclaimed.
I assure you, I don't want to induce you to do anything bad,
said Wu Yong.
This is something big. Tsai, the premier in the eastern capital, will celebrate his birthday on the 15th of the 6th lunar month. His son-in-law, Liang, the governor of Daming, the northern capital, has spent 100,000 strings of cash on birthday gifts of gold and jewels. A brave fellow called Liu Tang just brought us the news. I've been asked to invite you to a conference to plan how, with a few gallant men, we can waylay the convoy in some mountain hollow, take their misbegotten treasure, and enjoy ourselves for the rest of our lives. I had to pretend that I wanted to buy fish, so as to find a chance to invite you for a talk. Does this idea appeal to you?
Marvelous! Exclaimed Wan Xiaowu. He turned to Wan Xiaoqi. What did I tell you? Wan Xiaoqi leaped to his feet. Just what I've been hoping for all my life! This scratches me when I itch! When do we start?
We'll leave for War Chief Chao's manor tomorrow at the 5th watch.
The three brothers were delighted. The night passed. Early the next morning, the men rose and had breakfast. They gave a few words of instructions to their families and set out from Stone Tablet with Wu Yong for East Bank. They walked all day and finally came in sight of Chao Manor. The war chief and Liu Tang were waiting outside beneath a green locust tree. When Wu Yong led the three brothers forward, Chao and Liu greeted them warmly.
The eminent Wen brothers!
Cried the war chief.
I see you entirely deserving of your fame. Let's talk inside.
The 6 men entered the manor, went to the rear hall, and took their seat as host and guests. Wu Yong reported. Chao was extremely pleased. He instructed his vassals to slaughter a pig and a sheep and prepare sacrificial paper ingots. Chao presented so noble a mien, he spoke so freely, that the three brothers were moved to say, Our greatest pleasure is meeting gallant men, and here you were all along. To think we might not have the chance of meeting you if Wu Yong hadn't brought us here. They were clearly overjoyed. All ate and chatted half the night. At dawn the next day, they arose and went to the rear hall. Laid out before it were gold paper coins and paper horses, incense and candles, the pig and sheep which had been cooked the previous night, and paper replicas of silver ingots. The others were happy to see that Chao was so sincere. Together they made the solemn vow.
Governor Liang in the northern capital harms the people. With the money he has extorted from them, he has bought gifts to send to Tai, the premier in the eastern capital, on his birthday. This is evilly obtained wealth. If any of us six has any selfish intent, let heaven and earth obliterate him. May the gods be our witness.
兄弟相逢3万9，兄弟。
After taking their oaths, they burned the paper money. They ended the ceremony and drank. A vassal entered.
There is a Taoist priest at the gate who wants to see the war chief about a grain contribution.
How can you be so tactless?
Chow berated him.
Can't you see I'm drinking here with guests? Give him 4 or 5 measures of rice and be done with it. Why bother me?
I've already offered him rice, but he won't take it. He wants to see you.
He probably thinks it's not enough. Give him 3 or 2 pecks. Tell him the war chief is drinking with guests and has no time.
The vassal departed. A few minutes later, he returned.
I'm offering the priest 3 pecks of rice, but he refuses to leave. He says he's an honest Taoist, that he hasn't come for any handouts, but to see you.
You don't know how to talk to him. Tell him I have no time for him today, to come another time, and I'll invite him to tea.
I did that, but the priest said, I haven't come for money or grain, but because I've heard the war chief is a man of chivalry. I'm very eager to meet him.
What a nuisance you are! Why can't you take care of this? If he is still not satisfied with the amount of grain, give him 3 or 4 pecks more. Don't keep asking me about it. I'd see him if I weren't entertaining. Why not? But now, get rid of him, and don't trouble me again.
The vassal hadn't been gone very long when an uproar was heard outside the manor gate. Another vassal rushed in and reported,
That priest is enraged! He knocked down 10 of our fellows!
Startled, Chow Gai hastily rose to his feet.
Excuse me a moment, brothers,
He said.
I'd better see about this.
He left the hall and went to the gate. There, under the green locust tree, a handsome, powerful but strange-looking priest was fighting off his attackers.
You don't know a good man when you see him!
He was shouting.
Cool down, Sir Priest!
Chow called.
You came asking for War Chief Chow, apparently wanting a contribution. They gave you rice. Why get into such a temper?
The priest laughed.
I'm not interested in grain or money. 100,000 strings of cash means nothing to me. I'm seeking the war chief because I have something to tell him. These churls wouldn't listen to reason and began swearing at me. That's why I blew up. Do you know the war chief? I've heard of him, but we've never met. I am that humble person. What did you want to tell me, Sir Priest? I beg your pardon, War Chief. Please accept my greetings. You're most courteous. Won't you come into the manor and have some tea? Thank you very much.
The two entered the manor. When Wu Yong and the others saw the priest approaching, they quietly slipped out of sight. Chow Gai led the priest to the rear hall. After sipping tea for a while, the priest said,
This isn't a good place to talk. Is there somewhere else we could go?
The war chief took him to a small room, and again they seated themselves as host and guest.
May I ask your name, sir, and where you're from?
Queried Chow.
My family's name is Goksen. My given name, Shang. In the Taoist order, I am called Single Purity. I was born in Jizhou Prefecture. Since childhood, I loved playing with weapons, and have become quite skilled in many of them, so people call me Gentleman Gongsun Sheng. I have also studied Taoist lore, because I can summon the wind and bring the rain, ride the mists and drive the clouds. In the fraternity of gallant men, I am nicknamed Dragon in the Clouds. I have long known the eminent War Chief Chow of East Bank, Yuncheng County, but I've never had the acquaintance, and by way of introducing myself, I would like to present you with 100,000 strings of cash worth of gold and jewels. I wonder whether the war chief would accept.
Chow laughed.
You mean the shipment of birthday gifts from the northern capital?
The priest was astonished.
How did you know?
I just guessed. I gather we're talking about the same thing?
A real treasure. This is too good opportunity to miss. If you fail to take when you've got the chance, don't bemoan it later, as the old saying goes. How does the idea struck you, War Chief?
At that moment, a man dashed into the room and grabbed Gongsun by the front of his robe.
A fine thing!
The man shouted.
You defy the laws of the Emperor and the gods! How dare you hatch such schemes? I've been listening for a long time!
Gongsun's face turned the color of clay. Truly, before his plan was formed, someone outside the window heard everything and could have brought disaster down upon him. Who, after all, was the man who seized Gongsun? Read our next chapter if you would know.